Chapter 19, Individual, Group, and Team Behavior. In this chapter, we will go through another topic about the individual behavior, group behavior, and team behavior, as well as some of the team behavior theories. So let's have a very brief introduction. Within an organization, the behaviors of individual, group, and team are important to be aware of, and we will discuss each of them and explain why they are important for an organization to be effective and success. So as I just mentioned, in this class we will talk about the individual behavior, group behavior, team behavior, and some of the team behavior theories behind it. And the most important part is why these behavior and the theories can explain and about the organization is whether they are effective and success. So let's move on to talk about the individual behavior and the roles. For individuals, first of all, we would like to understand the characteristics of individual behavior. Typical issues that affect individual behavior and performance at work include what? Motivational level. And before we go into details of it, we need to understand individual behavior. The patterns of individual behavior vary significantly, but the underlying issues relating to behavior are the same for all people. So here, the issues that we discussed affect all individuals, so not just a particular one. And first issue is motivation. And this relates to people's desire to perform tasks and put effort into their job. It can be affected by many factors, including rewards, recognition, social interactions at work, and working conditions. So all these factors affect whether they can motivate or demotivate the individual. If it is an expectation to have a pay rise, then it's a motivation for the staff to perform good. Or if there's a rumors against the company that maybe a redundancy or a lot of people will be fired, then it is a demotivation factor within the organization, and the people, they're not willing to perform because of the fear and also the rumors about the redundancy and separation package. Perception. The next issue is about perception. It is about the individuals select, organize, and interpret the stimuli they receive. So it's about the communication and message. So message from managers are always subject to distortion, with the subordinates selecting parts of it and interpret the message in light of their own experience, wants, and needs. In other words, it's about the perception. Sometimes you cannot manage and control perception by each individual, because individual can have their own freedom to choose what to listen or what to remember, what message will be remembered. It's difficult to control. It's just the perception by each individual, but it affects individual behavior. Next is attitudes. These are persistent feelings and behavioral tendencies direct towards specific people, groups, ideas, or objects. So it's about their feelings and behavioral tendency on any specific topics by each individual. The fourth issue here I highlight is personality. This is the combination of emotional, about attitude, and behavioral responses of an individual. So it's not just one type of things under personality. It's about emotions, attitude, and behavioral responses. So for all these four issues, they affect individual behavior and performance at work. For any individual or for any manager or leader, they should take care about these issues and be mindful, say, for example, about perception. Communication or message is one thing that will affect the individual behavior and performance at work. So be a manager or leader, should be mindful about it, and mindful on the remuneration package or rewards. Also about the feelings like attitudes to your subordinates and employees. All these issues are affecting the behavior. So as a manager or leader, should be alert about it. So after sharing on the issues affecting individual behavior, so let's look at the role theory. Role theory suggests that the behavior of individuals depends on other people's expectations of them and how they are supposed to behave in a given situation. So it's about the expectation from others on the people. And like for myself, if the other expect me as say for example as a tutor here, they expect me to say for example to have this class and all participants should get full marks in your exam, for example, then I will think about it, and I would like to decide, or I would like to design my course or my class on how can help my students to achieve full marks in the exam. For example, like I need to for my students to memorize something or whatever. It changed my behavior. So role theory here suggests that the behavior of any individual depends on other people's expectation on them. So let's see. And a role is a pattern of behavior expected by someone who occupies a particular position. For example, a boss, because he is a boss, then other people will respect the boss, and the boss will behave that he is a boss in front of the subordinates because of the position. So let's check some key terms in role theory. Some of the contents I already briefed in my previous discussion. So let's summarize into 3 key terms here. First, about role behavior. Certain types of behavior can be associated with a particular role in an organization. As I said, like for example here, a member of staff who expects to be promoted shortly may begin acting as if they have already been put in charge. So it's quite common in the commercial world to see, hey, if a guy, for example, will be promoted from an accountant to assistant accounting manager, his or her behavior will be more likely moved from an accountant to the assistant manager. Role set. For role set, this describes the people who respond to an individual in a particular role. So one example here is a clerk or junior barristers would form part of senior barristers' role sets. And next, role signs. Apart from role behavior and role set, next term is role signs. And these are visible indications of a role. It's very visible here, like styles of dress, uniforms are typical examples of role signs. Like in the military service, different uniforms and styles of dresses, in the military services, different uniforms and styles of dress indicate status and position in the hierarchy. In an organization, the same, like the boss would like to dress in a more formal way, showing he is a boss. And for senior management, they would like, say, to put shirt and suits with ties to show them they are the senior management or executive. And for staff, they would like to take, say, for example, jeans and t-shirt going back to the office, because they no need to take care about what's about the visible indications to others about their role. So 3 key terms here to explain the role theory. And under the role theory, expected patterns of behavior may cause several problems. The first problem is role ambiguity. This arises when an individual is unsure of what role they are to play, or others are unclear of that person's role and so hold back cooperation. It's true because if I don't know what's your role, how can I cooperate with you? How can I work with you? It's the question mark in my mind. And it's very obvious when a new member joins the company, joins an organization, because the group already established and the new members joining in, is not sure of what are the role and responsibility of this particular new joiners. In other words, the role ambiguity is a challenge for an individual to join into the group, and it affects the behavior as well. Next is role conflict. So for any individual behavior that may cause this problem of conflict, that means this occurs when individuals find a clash between different roles they have adopted. An example here, if an accountant uncovers a fraud perpetrated by one of their friends, their roles as a professional and a friend may conflict with each other. And the third is role incompatibility. This occurs when individuals experience expectations from outside groups about their role that are different to their own role expectations. So it's not compatible, it's incompatible, or expectation gap between external party and internal party. And these are the problems arising from different patterns of individual behavior under this role theory. Because to recap, role theory, what does it mean? Role theory is about a role is the pattern of behavior expected by someone who occupies a particular position. So for a particular position like here, conflict, what our case or example here is an accountant. If he is a professional accountant, at the same time he has another role which is a good friend, then when your friend have some fraud issue, being a professional accountant and being a friend of the fraudster, then it's a conflict between the role. So here is some problems derived or explained by the role theory that you should bear in mind, especially in your exam. Let's discuss about the groups. For groups, group is any collection of individuals who perceive themselves to be a group. So we have different characteristics, and that I would like to share with you what a group should have. First, a sense of identity. That means the group has defined boundaries and it is clear who is within the group and who is not. So it should be a clear cut for the group in terms of, say, who should be within the group and who is not. It's probable, say for example, the same common goal, and we will discuss about this characteristic later, but the goal or purpose can help to define the boundary. And next, loyalty to the group. The group members accept one another and have certain standard behaviors. So it means standard behaviors of the group members that they follow. And this binds the group together and excludes others. So within the boundary, the people in the group or the members in the group, they have some standard behaviors. For example, like a social club for wine or drinks. The members in the group, they have the standard behaviors. For example, like they would like to have drinks, or they would like to have wine. They would like to discuss about the wine, what kind of wine and why they love wine. So they have a lot of topics about wine within the group. That is their standard behavior because they want to drink wine. And this binds the group together and excludes the people don't drink wine. So here's the loyalty to the group. And purpose and leadership. A group has a purpose and individuals are chosen to join the group in order to help the group achieve its goals. So for any individuals, they are chosen to join the group. They can help the group to achieve the goals. Just an example, like the wine group, the people exchange their ideas and thoughts about the wine. Say any good wine can be purchased at a very cheap price, so they can exchange within the group to share, and to achieve the objective is for every participant or for every members in the group, they can enjoy a wonderful experience about wine. It's the goal. So the members can join the group, they can contribute the group members to achieve it. So here are 3 characteristics about the group. And what type of groups that we can categorize? There are 2 types of group. First, informal groups. These are groups that individuals voluntarily join. They are voluntary. Join the group to meet their social or security needs. Individual members are dependent on each other and influence each other's behavior. So the individuals, they are not compulsory or forced to join the group because they just meet with friends or friends all together to meet and share some of their ideas and thoughts because they would like to meet their social needs or security needs. So it's not formal. The people join the group just by voluntary, and they are dependent on each other because they can exchange the thoughts with each other and they can rely on others' opinion or thoughts on their own decision. Say, for example, the wine group, they can rely on others' comments and they can go to buy the wine with reference to the friends or to the group members' ideas. So here is the informal groups. For formal groups, these are groups that are created to carry out specific tasks and communicate and solve problems. Memberships is normally determined by the organization. From the wine group, maybe just a group of friends or individuals, they are voluntarily join the group. Right now, to change it, this group to a formal group, say the wine group need to carry out specific task. So the group right now is not just a friends gathering. The group right now upgrade to promote the wine to the public, or to educate the people in the public how to taste wine and how to choose wine. So here is a specific task of this group, and they try to solve the problems for any individuals who would like to understand more about wine. So it changed or it transformed the informal groups into formal group in my example. So here the member joins the group. Right now is no more just a voluntary. Member join the group, they need to say, for example, they have some experience about wine, they need to pay the membership fee, and the organization right now, the wine organization right now, need to determine who can join the group because the members need to help the groups to carry out specific tasks as well as to communicate with the public. So here is the formal group. It's a difference between the difference between informal group and formal groups is about the formality and also about whether there's a formal organization to do the jobs for the members. So when dealing with other individuals within a group, people can adopt different types of behavior, and 3 types of group behavior can be found. First, assertive. Next, aggressive. And third, passive. So these three types of group behavior can be found when any individuals within a group to adopt. So let's go through these three behaviors one by one. For assertive, this is direct, honest, and professional communication. It often involves insisting on your rights without violating the rights of others. So it's a professional way to communicate with the other group members, and you stand still or you insist your points and your rights, but it doesn't mean that the other's right will be violated. And for next, aggressive, it means that you are not only insisting on your own rights, but you violate another person's rights and can often lead to conflict. So when there's a conflict in the groups, some person in the group or some members in the group, they perform like an aggressive behavior that violates another person's rights, then it can come to a conflict situation. For the third type of behavior in a group is passive behavior. This is giving into another person in the belief that their rights are more important than yours. So let's have an example to share about the group's behavior. A manager was reported by his subordinate, and his subordinate submitted a report to the manager. And after reading the reports, the manager found there are so many mistakes need to be correct. In the case of an aggressive manager, here in the case of aggressive manager, the statement will be, I don't know how you dare to give me a report that has these many mistakes on it. So for an aggressive manager, he doesn't explain in a communication, just violating the other's rights, and not in a polite way to do it. And for an assertive manager, might say, I would like you to rework this report because there are several mistakes in it. So for an assertive manager, the communication is fact-based, not emotional, and to solve it. So in general, assertive way or assertive behavior is respected and highly recognized in an organization. And for a passive manager, the way of communicating with subordinates about the mistakes will be, or maybe, the mistakes in the report were probably my faults for not explaining it to you properly. So you can find the communication for a passive manager is very soft and even blame himself, not blaming any other one. It's a passive way. So in other words, for the group behavior, three types of group behavior here, what do you think a manager should do in front of his subordinate? In which way of communication or in which way of behavior that a manager should adopt? So next, let's talk about the contribution of individuals and teams to organizational success. The difference between groups and individuals is on jobs, say, or on tasks. Is for groups, you have more than one person to work on a task and see whether it is more beneficial. Sometimes it's yes, but it's not always true. So let's see what are the benefits from the group on organizational success. For the group work, the first benefit is mixture of skills and abilities, such as improving numbers of creative ideas. and the appreciation of different point of views. So for the benefits in a group, it helps to solve the problem. It helps to solve the problem because it can pull out a lot of resources or different types of person by their skills or abilities to solve it. And next, synergy. For synergy, it means the pooling of ideas and energy within a group may mean greater or may have a greater efficiency than if the workers were acting as individuals. Sometimes we call 1 + 1 is more than 2 because you have two persons working all together and they can have, say, for example, the output is more than just two persons. But it has assumption that the communication between the staff are good enough so they can work well and no conflicts within the group. So they have the synergy from greater efficiency in this aspect. And thirdly, increased flexibility. As the team can easily be configured in different ways, with different people taking over different tasks, so it helps to increase flexibility, especially when there is a flexible team or flexible group. The group can be formed and dismissed after a project, say for example like a project group or project team. It increases the flexibility when doing with different projects. And fourth benefit is better control, with opportunities for individual performance to be reviewed and controlled by other group members. So for any individual in the group, his performance are reviewed by others and monitored by others as well. So it helps to control, say for example, like the quality of the product or quality of the service. Another benefit is increased motivation. If workers' social needs are being met within their group, it helps to increase the motivation as well. Communication improved between workers and also healthy competition within an organization. Within a group, there's a group members. Those group members will compete with each other, especially for, say, a sales team. If you have two sales group, group A and group B, they can create healthy competition with the group and even within the group. Because for example, like group A, there are 3 members in group A. They will compete with each other in a gentle way, for example, to have the group result as well as to have an individual result. But if for an individual to work for the sales job, no more competition and then no pressure from your peers. That means the individual performance cannot be optimized. But there are still some problems for the group work, say decision making. Because more than one person, you need to communicate and discuss with each other. For decision making, you need to have, say, if the group has, say, 5 or 6 persons in the group, then you need to discuss altogether with 5 persons, or you have to deal with them one by one. Then it's very time consuming to make the decision. And next is about the tend to produce decisions that are compromises. So what does that mean? It means that the decision made is based on, like number 3, the group pressure. Because no one would like to be different from others. They would tend to make decisions that align already before the meeting. But whether the decision is the best to the company or organization, maybe not. So it's not most beneficial to the business under this situation. It's quite similar to the third point here, the group pressure to conform. In these situations, members of a close-knit team agree to decisions that they know are wrong because other members of the group support them and they wish to fit it. So it's about the group pressure. You would like to align with others. You don't want to be different from others. So it's a group pressure to conform, but the outcome is the same as point number 2. The decision made is not the best to the organization. And fourth problem is lack of individual responsibility. It means that the responsibility for any decisions made is shared between all members. This means that the groups may take riskier decisions than individuals. So because it is a common decisions among members in the group, and for each individual they are not responsible for the decision. So here there's a risk for the organization if they have such mechanism to make decisions by all individuals in a group. Another problem is too much social interaction. So the problem is here, what do we mean about too much? Okay, here is one problem or question. Maybe the staff in an organization spend, say, 4 hours per day in social interaction, so maybe it's too much for them. But sometimes maybe only 1 hour is too much. So it depends on the situations. But here we would like to highlight social interaction is good, but if it's too much, then the meetings may become social events. So it's not focused on task. Because the justice for group functions or group interaction, they are not task oriented. So sometimes we need to have focus on task instead of just social events in the group meetings. And the last problem is competition and conflict. If the competition is not healthy, it turns to be hostile or with a lot of fights, for example, then the competition becomes destructive to the organization. So managers will therefore need to monitor groups carefully to ensure that corrective action is taken if these problems are noted. So last topic on chapter 19 is teams. We will share about what is teams and some behavior of teams, and also we will share with you for the effectiveness of a team, how to assess it, and what's the benefits of it. A team is more than group. So you can see team is part of group, the concept, but it's not the same. It's more than a group. A team can be described as any group of people who must significantly relate to with each other in order to accomplish shared objectives. So let's see what teams usually has. For teams, usually share a common goal, enjoy working together. For teams, they are committed to achieve certain goals. They are made up of diverse individuals. They are loyal to the team and its projects. And team usually have a sense of team spirit. So there are 6 characteristics of team. So let's check. Let's check here. A team is therefore a formal group, and it will have its own culture, leader, and will be geared towards achieving a particular objective. So we talk about team, and team is part of group, but this is an informal group, and team has 6 characteristics as we just mentioned. And team has its own culture, leader. And let's see the theory, because we have three theories explaining team, and let's check how the team's theory and what are they. First, Belbin's team roles theory. Belbin suggests that in order for a team to operate effectively, it needs a balance of 9 different roles. So the focus here is explaining the team how to be operate effectively. It's the purpose of Belbin's team roles theory. We have 9 roles. And we have to balance of these 9 roles. The first category is action-oriented roles. We have 3 roles under action-oriented roles. which are shaper, implementer, completer, and finisher, or finisher. The second category of roles under Balbin's team roles theory is people-oriented roles. Coordinator or leader, team worker, resource investigator. So the third category under the Balbin's roles theory is thoughts-oriented roles. Plans, monitor, evaluator, and specialist. So let's check for these 9 roles and go through them one by one. For shaper, promotes activity, dominant, extrovert. For implementer, the administrator, organizer, turns ideas into practical solutions. For completer, the progress chaser. And for leader, they push group all together to work towards a shared goal. And for team worker, they concerned about with relationships within the group. And resource investigator, the extrovert networker, looks for alternative solutions. For plans, thoughtful and thought-provoking ideas person. For monitor, evaluator, they criticizes others' ideas, brings the team down to earth. And specialist, they provide knowledge and or skills required by the project. So you can see there's 9 roles here. They represent different. And note that Balbin was not arguing that every team should have minimum 9 members. For individuals within the team could take on more than 1 role each. So in other words, there may be only 3 or 4 members, but the members can have more than 1 role in a team. As long as the roles are filled, the team will be more likely to be effective. Is the conclusion by Balbin. So let me explain a bit more about this Balbin's team roles theory on some particular role, like here, like the leader. For leader, the leader should play a balanced and disciplined role with good at working with others. So leaders is not just pull the groups all together, and he or she needs to have a balanced and disciplined role in front of the team. And another like shaper, for shaper, he is a dominant person, task-driven to a point of passion and force of actions. And for, say, the implementer here, is usually a company worker, the administrator and organizer, a trustworthy person. And it's different from the team worker here for implementer. For team worker, they're concerned with the maintenance of the team, usually possessive and diplomatic. So for implementer, they just execute, be a worker. But for team worker, it's different, because for team worker, they talk about whether the people base, first of all, team worker, and they concern about the people in the team, how to maintain in the team. And for completer and finisher, they enjoy the detail, pushes the team to meet targets because they are target oriented. And for resource investigator, they are the popular social member of the team. So they use this, they are a very useful source of context, but not ideas. They connect, they help to connect the people in the team, and like a glue to glue the people, say, for example, to stick together. Good at communication for this resource investigator, both with others members of the group, and also they are good communicator with the external party as well. And for plants, they're often introvert but intellectually bright and imaginative, who acts as a source of ideas and innovation. So they have a lot of new ideas and even the innovative ideas to help the team to grow. And here for monitor or evaluator, they help the group or the team, not creative but analytical way. So they often techniques, examines ideas and spots flows. So they can monitor the ideas, whether they have any errors, mistakes, or some unlogical thoughts. They will challenge it. They will evaluate it. So it helps to shape the ideas become more practical. And for specialists, they are the experts. First of all, they're not just they provide knowledge and skills, and they join the team with their specialist advice, which help the team to grow. Especially, the team can benchmark with the outside party, which make the team more competent in the market. So here are the 9 role theory based on the work by Belbins. And some more comments on Belbin's Belbin theory. Belbin studied the team membership, and he suggested that all teams are a matter of balance, and that the team members fulfill 2 roles. First, the primary role, and the second is secondary role. So for Belbin, as we mentioned, what's the purpose of his theory is to have a balance in the team, so the team can perform more effective. So here you can see the balance between the primary role and secondary role that his theory also suggests. The primary role is more on skills or functions for which the individual was appointed to the team in the first place, and this is usually the individual's professional role. So we need the people's. Why? Because we need his skills, his talent, experiences, for example, in the team to contribute. At the same time, the person also has the secondary role. The secondary role is the team role based on the individual's preferred behavior pattern. All the team roles are needed for a team to be successful, the team role being in addition to the members bringing their own disciplines and skills. And it is also possible that the members have more than one team role skill, although one will usually dominate. So for example here, the professional is dominant, but the secondary role cannot be ignored. Especially the team role may change depending on the task or the circumstances, and the number of team members help here is when they bring in their professional experiences and skills and talents to the team to contribute, is the primary role. But we cannot ignore the individual's preferred behavioral pattern that also contribute to the development of the team as well. So let's move on to talk about the second theory, which is Tuckman's stages of group development. Tuckman argued that all teams progress through 4 main stages of development. So we focus on the 4 main stages, and he added 2 more later about these stages of group development theory. So 4 main stages. First, forming. The team initially comes together, so they are happy. They are excited because they would like to contribute to the group. And then storming. And then it's norming and performing. So here are 4 main stages. From initially come together, and then at the storming stage, maybe some conflict within the team or within the group. And because maybe the role is not identified well, some challenges as well. And then norming, it becomes more smooth. Right now, they can cooperate with each other and the roles are graded. And performing, the team begins to be productive. So here are 4 main stages, just to summarize. And then 2 more added is storming. Complacency starts within the team. Okay, I will explain to you a bit later on all these 6 stages. And adjourning or mourning, the team completes its objectives and disbands. So there are 6 stages under Tuckman stages of group development. So here for forming, it is the initial stage. The group is no more than just a collection of individuals who are seeking to define the purpose of the group and how it will operate. So they have the same purpose, they have the identity, they have the loyalty to the group as well. So right now there's a group and become a formal group. They would like to move forward and then move on to the next stage, which is forming. And most groups go through the storming stage, because it is a conflict stage. In this stage, norms of attitude, behavior, and so on are challenged and rejected. Members compete for chosen roles within the group. If successful, this stage will have forged a stronger team with greater knowledge for each other and their objectives. So storming stage is just like working with each other and to have a process to see how to work well with each other in the group. And sometimes it takes very long on storming stage. So if the organization or if the group can pass through this stage, then it can go to the next stage called norming. The norming stage set up the norms under which the group will operate, and members compete for chosen roles within, and members experiments and test group reaction as the norms become established. Typically, the norming stage will set up how the group will take decisions, behavior patterns, level of trust and openness. And individuals' roles are also have a clear definition as well. So for norming, right now is after the storming stage, they can cooperate with each other, they know with each other well, say for example the attitude, behavior, and they can accept it, so they can move on to norming stage, they can cooperate with each other, and the roles are defined and can move forward. So then can go to the performing stage. So once this final stage has been reached, the group is capable of operating to full potential, and all the difficulties of adjustment, leadership contests, etc. should have been resolved already. So it's become productive. So in general, performing is good here up to now. And not all groups can go from forming to performing. Some groups can only stuck into, say, storming. So it cannot move forward. It just stuck in the storming stage because maybe some of the staff or group members turn over, new joiner, and then some exit, and they have to repeat the storming stage again because they have to know each other well and cannot go out from this storming stage. And if they can go through all these 4 stages to performing, then let's talk about 2 more stages, which is storming and adjourning. For storming stage, because if a group can perform well for sometimes, and there's a danger that it will be operating on an automatic pilot. Groupthink occurs to the extent that the group may be unaware of changing circumstances. So here is a storming stage. There's a risk because the people in the group just follow the rules or a set of behaviors already. They adopt to it and become a risk to the group or to the organization. And if go to the adjourning stage means that the team has already fulfilled its objective and it is due to be closed down. Even it is likely to upset team members who are used to working in a team and can lead to anxiety and insecurity among the team members. But when the team objectives are already achieved, then the team dismissed, or the team closed, or the team is due to close down, then it's the final stage of the team development here. So let's see next topic, which is the team effectiveness. Team effectiveness is the theory proposed by Pertains and Waterman, and these gentlemen defined the 5 key aspects of successful teams. The first is the team should be relatively small. One aspect is small team size, because for each member may want to represent the interests of their section and department, meaning that larger teams will be slower and harder to manage. So in other words, they have the assumption that for each team members, they want to represent the interests of their section or department. So if it is a smaller team, then they have the opportunity to represent it. And if a larger team, is harder to manage because you have some conflict with each team members. They would like to represent the department or section. And the second aspect is the team should have a limited duration. So they think whether team is effective is whether this is the limited duration. And the team should have a specific task. If once it's achieved, then it should be the end of the team existence. And third aspect is membership should be voluntary. A team member who does not want to be part of the group is unlikely to be a fully participating member. So here, membership for the team should be voluntary. They should, it's not a force a member to join the team. Okay, it doesn't work based on Peter and Waterman. And fourth aspect is for communication should be informal and unstructured. They argued there should be little documentation and no status barriers for communication if the team would like to be effective. So it's the fourth aspect. And the final aspect they mentioned is the team should be action-oriented. So it's tasks. They should work for tasks, meaning that the team should create a plan for action and decide what needs doing to accomplish their goals. So here, the 5 aspects proposed by Pertains and Waterman on whether the team is effective. If you find the team is not effective, then how can you build the team or improve the effectiveness? So let's see what can help. And without outside intervention or support from management, teams are not always be effective to achieve their goals. So let's see how to improve it. The reason why it's not effective because managers need to create some team building exercise for their group members. So let's see team building exercise whether can help or how can it help to improve the effectiveness of the team. And for team building exercise, if you don't know this term, it means that they are tasks designed to develop group members and their ability to work together. So there are 3 areas for team building exercise we discussed. First, team building exercise can help to improve communication. As said, team building exercise are tasks designed to develop group members and their ability to work together. So, according to many research, it states that communication within the team is always or is the top issue for an effective team. So improved communication through the team building exercise can help the team to become more effective. And for improved communication, what can we use? Okay, the use of problem-solving exercise, for example, which force all team members to discuss a problem the group is facing. Maybe there's some scenario or cases in the group team building exercise for the team members to participate and ask the team members to work together to solve the case or the scenario. Next area, the team building exercise focus is on building trust. Building trust between team members can help the individual members work as a group. Especially when you find your team members are not trust with each other well, then building trust through the team building exercise can help it. The third area is social interaction. Social interaction between the individuals in the team can help to reduce conflict and increase the cohesion of the group. So all these three areas, the team building exercise, can help to improve the effectiveness of the team. After the team building exercise, you have a better team right now. But how do you measure the team effectiveness? And there are many possible ways of doing it, such as the degree to which the team achieved its stated objectives and the quality of its output. Next, team member satisfaction. After team building exercise, okay, you can measure whether team members satisfied. And this could be measured amongst other things, let's say by using labor turnover or absenteeism rates. So you can check whether after the team building exercise or many team building exercise, whether the team members, the team are more stable right now or still very high labor turnover or many absence. So it's one of the indicators showing whether your team is effective or not. Efficiency. This measurement is like the resources used to achieve team objectives to see whether, say for example, like a lot of manpower or more and more manpower used to complete a task as compared to say 2 or 3 years ago. You can make a comparison on it to see whether it is more efficient or not. And management could measure this through the use of questionnaires for team members, interviews, or direct observation of them. So you can use, say, just mentioned like questionnaires or even one-on-one interviews to check whether the team effectiveness is improved or not. So the question 1 here is, would a number of people waiting for a bus be described as a formal group, an informal group, neither of the above? So you imagine, we mentioned about the definition of group. How can you define a group? Say whether they have the identity, whether they have to define the boundaries, whether they are loyal to the group, whether they have the purpose or leaders as well. So whether you think here the people waiting for a bus can be described as a formal group, informal group, or not. Second question here, there are different types of group behavior, 6 types of behavior. First, avoidance of conflict. Second, small number of members. Third, lack of communication. Fourth, strong pressure for group members to conform. And fifth, clear objectives. The 6th behavior is dominant individual members. So we have these 6 different behaviors, group behaviors, and which of these would not be characteristics of an effective group? So the question is, which one of them is not an effective group behavior? So you can think whether like lack of communication, clear objective, okay, which one or which 2 or which 3, which 4 are not characteristics of an effective group? And next question, which of the following would be expected to be characteristics of an effective team? We just mentioned. So let's see what's here. high labor turnover, no absenteeism, high productivity. We just mentioned the measurements of an effective team or the effectiveness of the team. So which one expected to be the characteristic of an effective team?